email from Eric, and Eric said, I'm from Wisconsin, and there's a town near Elkhorn, which has had sightings for about 90 years of a wolf-like creature. They call him the Beast of Bray Road. And you might want to check it out. Wisconsin doesn't get much attention, with the exception of our many serial killers. Eric from Wisconsin. Okay, cool. Thanks, Eric. I did a little digging around, and when it comes to cryptids, few are as bone-chillingly fascinating as Wisconsin's Beast of Bray Road. It's the kind of story that feels like it's like a Stephen King kind of gothic horror novel, or a werewolf-like creature prowling the back roads of Elkhorn, Wisconsin, leaving a trail of fear and speculation in its wake.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you spell Bray Road? Is it Bray like?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I've never been a really big werewolf story guy. American Werewolf in London was amusing, but I've never, really liked the whole, it just doesn't interest me. Yeah.
Have you ever seen Wolf starring Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Oh,
yes, I did.
I loved that movie when I was younger. Like, I would like to watch it again, but I'm a little nervous that the previous opinions that I held of it will not stand up over time. You know what I mean?
Be dashed. Yeah, that happens a lot.
I'm worried about it, but at the same time, I think we got to watch it.
I remember watching a movie, I think it was from the early 80s, and it was called Wolfen, and it was about a modern day werewolf in, I guess, prowling the Bronx in New York.
Oh.
And there was one scene that was pretty graphic for the time. I remember the wolf grabbing somebody by the neck and just ripping his throat out. And I remember thinking, well, that's really intense. Anyway, the Beast of Bray Road sits squarely in that uncanny valley between reality and fiction.
Mm-hmm.
It's not been disproved. It's not been proved. Is it a flesh and blood creature or a supernatural entity, or simply an overactive collective imagination? One thing's for sure, the sightings span decades, and they are pretty impossible to ignore. The very first documented sighting of the Beast of Bray Road dates back to the late 1930s. But it wasn't until the 1980s and early 90s that the story truly started to captivate people's attention. And it started with several residents of Elkhorn when they reported encounters with this strange creature near Bray Road. Now, that's a rural stretch surrounded by fields and dense woodland. Have you ever been to Wisconsin?
I've not.
No, me neither. I'd love to go,
it's lovely.
though. Big fan of their cheese. Witnesses described a creature that stood between 6 and 7 feet tall, shaggy fur, glowing eyes, and a muscular humanoid-type frame. It moved on 2 legs, but was capable of dropping to all 4s and running at astonishing speeds. And, it had claws, big ones. One of the most famous accounts comes from Laurie Andreezy, who had an unforgettable encounter in 1989. Laurie was driving along Bray Road one evening when her car suddenly lurched as though she'd hit something, and she was rightfully concerned. So she pulled over to the side of the road and got out to investigate. And that's when she saw it. She described it as a hulking wolf-like creature crouched by the road, its piercing eyes locked on hers. Laurie described it as having broad shoulders, a long snout, and it had an aura of menace. Understandably, she was terrified and got back in her car and sped off. But she said the memory of those eyes haunted her. Still do.
That's a very common way of a werewolf in lore snagging a human victim is like, oh, you've hit this dog with your car.
Yeah.
That's what happened in the 1994 film Wolf, starring Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
About the same time as Lori's experience, other residents started reporting similar encounters. One young girl claimed the creature had chased her car as she drove home late at night. And in my mind, I picture this werewolf on all fours just chasing a mail truck.
Or here, it would be a gas truck.
Another witness said they saw it crouched by the roadside, gnawing on roadkill.
Oh.
And a farmer claimed that he found claw marks on the side of his barn, and they were about 9 feet up. And at that time, his livestock seemed to be bizarrely terrified.
Okay, I don't like that.
The beast seemed to have a penchant for appearing suddenly, often at night, and then vanishing as quickly as it came. There are reports of people who claim to have seen it and then just watched it dematerialize.
Ew.
Or fade off, just fade away. The beast's legend might have remained a local curiosity if it had not been for a journalist named Linda Godfrey. She began investigating the sightings back in 1991, and she was writing for the local newspaper, The Week. And Godfrey's article on the beast ignited widespread interest. So she went on to publish the book, The Beast of Bray Road, Tailing Wisconsin's Werewolf. In the book, she documented eyewitness accounts and explored the possible explanations for this phenomenon. Godfrey's meticulous research and her open-minded approach brought legitimacy to the story that might otherwise have been dismissed as small-town hysteria.
Sure.
There are many theories about the beast of Bray Road. Some believe it's a cryptid, a yet-to-be-discovered species that's managed to somehow elude modern science. Wolves or bears, maybe, with rare mutations, perhaps. Others lean toward the supernatural, suggesting the beast might be a werewolf or a skinwalker.
Oh, yeah.
Or even a demonic entity of some sort. The idea of supernatural origin is bolstered by the creature's uncanny ability to appear and just disappear without a trace. Skeptics, of course, have their own explanations. They argue that the sightings could be chalked up to misidentified wildlife, such as bears or even just large dogs, possibly suffering from mange. But the glowing eyes, that can be a trick of light, reflecting off the animal's retinas, obviously. We've seen that with cats a million times. The upright posture, perhaps the observer's imagination filled the blanks in during a moment of fear. This is what skeptics are saying to explain this. But while these explanations are plausible, they don't account for the consistency of the descriptions across decades and from multiple witnesses. Here's where things get a little more interesting. Just because the beast has not been captured or thoroughly documented doesn't mean it's purely mythical. Consider the discovery of other cryptids that turned out to be true, like the okapi. That was dismissed as a tall tale. I know you're a big fan of the okapi.
I am. They're often called the ghosts of the forest because they are so elusive.
Interesting. The giraffe was once thought to be a mythical creature until it was discovered. European explorers would come back and say, hey, we saw this big, tall, spotted horse. And they would go, are you high? Like that. Yes, Katrina Walls, I see your hand.
Yeah. So even though the okapi looks like a zebra, they're actually most closely related to giraffe.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which is interesting.
The coelacanth, that's a prehistoric fish. It was thought to have been extinct for millions of years, but it was rediscovered off the coast of South Africa in 1938. Yes, Katrina Walls.
Coelacanth is a living fossil.
I'm glad you're paying attention. There's going to be a pop quiz at the end of this. So could the beast of Bray Road be just another case such as this, waiting for the right combination of technology and persistence to reveal its secrets? You don't think so? Okay. The flurry of sightings in the 1990s has waned, reports of the beast still persist. In recent years, locals have described hearing eerie howls in the woods or finding strange tracks near their homes. Trail cameras, which are increasingly common in rural areas, occasionally capture images of creatures that defy identification, but there has been no hard evidence.
Mhm.
From a paranormal standpoint, the Beast of Bray Road offers a fascinating case study. It could be a number of different things, of course. An interdimensional entity. Could it be slipping back and forth between our world and another, like a skinwalker? Quantum physics suggests multiple dimensions are a scientific possibility. Perhaps creatures like the beast exist in a realm just beyond our perception and occasionally crossing over under specific conditions. It does sound, of course, far fetched, but it's no more outlandish than the idea of a wolfman stalking the fields of Wisconsin. Another possibility is the beast is tied to the land itself. Native American legends also often speak of spirit animals or shapeshifters, guardians of sacred spaces. Could the beast be a modern manifestation of such folklore? The area around Bray Road is steeped in history, and it's not inconceivable that the creature is connected to the land's deeper mysteries. But the Beast of Bray Road remains an enigma, straddling that line between legend and reality, whether it's a cryptid, a supernatural entity, or just a misidentified animal. The sheer number of eyewitness accounts suggests something's going on there. Perhaps the truth lies in a combination of explanations, each a piece of the puzzle that contributes to the larger picture. As technology advances and our understanding of the natural and supernatural world deepens, who knows what we might discover. But until then, the Beast of Bray Road continues to haunt the imaginations of those who dare to drive its shadowy stretch of road after dark. If you ever find yourself in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, first of all, get me some cheese. And secondly, keep your eyes peeled and your camera ready. You might be the one to solve this mystery. The Beast of Bray Road. My information came from The Beast of Bray Road, Trailing Wisconsin's Werewolf by Linda Godfrey, as well as local accounts and interviews documented in the Week newspaper back in 1991. And cryptozoology reports and trail camera footage analysis from the North American Cryptid Research Society. I saw some of the clips, and you can't really tell what it is. You can't identify it one way or the other, but it's interesting, and I want to look more into that and put that on our list of potential places to go and visit.
Ooh.
But mostly because of the cheese.